Hey guys, Plays with Trucks back at you from Trucks Customs Garage. We're going to continue on this build or this install of the LED lights into the Airbrush spray booth. And what I have here is I've lined this up with the power inlet and the switch, the power switch. And what I have on this side is the insert for the other switch. I'm going to use it as a template. And this basically, normally if you'd install this into something, it would just slide right in there and then just pop in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and use it as a template. And the great thing about this is I can just line it up by eye. It's got a nice straight edge. These two are put in there together at the same. I'm just going to take a basic pen and I'm going to mark inside of there, and you can do with whatever you want. However you want to do it. You know, if you want to use a Sharpie or whatever, you can do that. And then you got this little square here, or I'm sorry, a rectangle that you can use as a guide when you crank up that tool, or however you want to cut this out. You can cut it out with, basically you could use the back of your X-Acto knife the same way you open doors or a trunk, or score it enough times. So there is a lip, so you guys know, on the back of these. So these don't have to be perfectly straight. If you mess it up a little bit, that's okay. It appears to be maybe a little bit more lip on the ends of these because of the way the clamps work. Just, you know, it's 1/8 of an inch, maybe 3/16, something along that lines. But it gives you it gives you guys an idea that you don't have to be perfect with this. It doesn't have to be 90-degree corners and everything like that. Now with a Dremel, using a Dremel tool, if you're using the rotary, like the drill bit cutting tool, then it's going to be difficult to get into that corner there and get that. But fortunately, again, once you get down there to the edges, if you need to go over a little bit to get that corner squared off, then that's fine too. So don't be afraid of this. You know, if you cut it too big deal. Get you a piece of sheet styrene, stick over the top of it, and start over. You know, that's the great thing about plastic, is you can mold it. That's why you guys are in this. You guys are building these plastic models. This is plastic, same stuff. Get to work, guys. Alright, I'm going to cut this video off, and I'm going to cut that out with the Dremel tool, and then I'll be back. Alright guys, I'm back. I've got the hole dremeled out here. I wanted to go ahead and just let you guys know I was using proper safety equipment. I recommend a set of these glasses. Pick them up just about anywhere for less than $3, and that's a lot to make sure that you keep your eyes safe. I think you can get these at Harbor Freight for $1, $1.50. They're not very much. And also, I just use this right here, this cheap respirator mask. You know, you can get 3 of these for $2 or $1 or something like that at Walmart or anywhere. You can get the glasses, I'm sure, at Walmart. So I'll show you guys what I did here, and I left it this way. I intentionally did not go back and file this out or anything, so you guys could just see, you know, it's just a rough cut. The best thing to do is, if you're concerned about it, you know, cut it small. Then you can take your switch and you can put it in there and you can fit it, and if it doesn't fit, you can take back more. You know, so it's easier to go small and then make it bigger than it is to go big and have to cut another piece of plastic to put over it or anything. But as you can see, just stick it in there. Even though it's rough cut, once you put it in there, there it is. Look at that. Can you tell that it's rough cut? Nope. So no one other than anyone who watches this video will ever be able to tell that that's rough cut. So as you can see, I just lined that up. It's pretty good fit in there. And that's it. So basically what we need to do now is I'll show you from the inside what it looks like. See, told you guys I'd probably hit something. Alright, so now it's right there, and you can see it's a short jump for these wires just to come in. Bam bam, we're there, we're good to go. And you'll also notice that I went ahead and I taped all these flaps down because they're loose and they'll just flop around and everything, so I went ahead and taped them down so they wouldn't do that. So I'm gonna shut this off, and we're gonna move on to the next step. Alright guys. Alright guys, next step here. What I did is I went ahead and pulled this switch out, or the power source out, the little adapter, out of the inside there. And I just cut me a small piece of wire off of one of the ends of an LED, and I'm going to take the red wire here because this is going to be my feed into my switch. You don't need both of them. Now if you used a lighted switch, you would need a negative to come into it so it could turn the LED inside of the switch itself on, but that's the only, this is just a on-off type thing. So basically what I'm going to do here is I've slid this up inside of the boot there, and I am going to solder this directly onto here. And the reason I'm going to do that, and that's going to be my power connection, then on the other end I'll simply take and put a spade connector on it. Once this is done, I'll slide this right back up over both wires and it'll be insulated. Alright guys, I'm going to turn this thing off, I'm going to solder it up, I'm going to come back and show you. Okay, we're back. Just thought I'd show you this real quick. Just use me a piece of wood to set this on, solder directly onto it. Not sure your skill level on soldering, some people are better at others. I have a background in electronics. I put myself through college installing car stereos, so I'm pretty good at it. Basically what it is pigtailed it in here. I took and put me a bead of solder onto the spade connector first, then just laid the wire over the top and then heated up the solder that was already on the spade connector. The wire sucked into it. I put a little more solder in there just to make sure it wasn't a good cold, wasn't a bad cold solder joint. It's a good solid solder, and that's it. And I can just take this, slide this right back over the top of the spade connector, and we're now insulated. So on this end, basically what I'm going to do is strip me a little bit of wire here. This is really small wire, so you got to be real careful with it or you'll cut it. You'll cut all the way through it, so it's really small wire. So basically, and then what I'm going to take it and do is I stripped it a little long for most crimp connections, but because this wire is so small, I'm going to fold it up so the crimp connector has something to bite into. I'm going to grab a spade connector real quick. Give me 1 second. Alright, and then I am going to line this up. As you saw on the other spade connect, you can't really see it here, it's hard to see, but they have a groove in them. They're not 100% cylindrical. Well, in this particular one, on these, it's always, if you can see down in there, this is flat across the bottom, then it hooks around. Well, so that means the seal is on top, and when you do these crimp connections, you got this here. Well, you don't want that going into the seal. You can use that, but with this small of wire, you know, you're likely to not actually get a good bite. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to put it on the flat side there, and what that's going to do is it's going to get a good bite into it. I'm simply going to take that wire, just feed up in there. You probably cannot see it, but just where the insulation touches the edge of the crimp connector, so I know the wire's in there, and give it a good crimp right there. Pull it out. And there we go. We got our connection made. So now we got our jumper from our power source over to our switch for our LEDs. And that's pretty much where we're at now. I'm going to get off of here and I'll be back in a couple minutes.